All right, hello, Alan. Armchair updates. Finally getting at you from my wife's laptop. So just real quick, I've been doing these on my computer since the first one in January. After the initial draft, I get on today, and what always happens is you go into the studio, and you have to click a button to allow StreamYard to access your computer's microphone and camera. And I do that like I always do, but now I get a box that pops up that says we can't detect a camera or microphone. Are you sure you have one plugged in? And like I said in the Discord this morning, I spent forever with a tech person asking me to send them screenshots to make sure that what I was saying was actually correct, to make sure that when I go into my settings in Windows, I have access allowed from different apps other than my desktop and shit. I haven't changed anything. It's working on my wife's laptop. Don't know why it's not working on mine. I don't get it. My dweeb brother was a tech guy in the Army before he became a firefighter. I'm going to call him tonight. He has the exact same laptop as I do. So maybe he'll be able to figure it out. And because I hate doing it on her. She's got a little tiny screen. I can't, when I bring up the sheets, I can't see everything without having to bop around. But whatever. This is a quick week 12, very late. We're halfway through week 14, but Tyler doesn't take a week off from the power rankings. I don't want to miss one of these. And the first year doing it, I didn't want to miss one. So let's rip through week 12 real quick, and then I'll probably do week 13 maybe later this evening or tomorrow morning. And then this Thursday night, which is tomorrow night, the 8th, I'm going to have a new face on just to kind of talk about his team and, talk some other stuff, mostly ABL focused, I'm sure. But I'm going to have on the Cincinnati owner, Mr. Lenny, Mr. Slash and Burn. Going to get him on and get some of his thoughts on some of the deals that he's made and the future for the Reds and really whatever the hell else he feels like talking about. He's an interesting dude in the conversations I've had with him thus far. So yeah, whatever he wants to share, I'm willing to talk about. Speaking of share, let me get the share screen up so we can talk about scoring week 12. And we had 10 teams go undefeated that week. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody anything they probably don't already know because this was, so long ago. You guys have had time to look over and digest all of this stuff. But going real quickly through our undefeateds, the Dodgers, what a surprise. The Cardinals, Pirates, and the Phillies and the Mariners, what a surprise. The Red Sox, nice to see the Red Sox going 3-0. The Jays, the Twins, again, the Twins and Jays, the Tigers, all very consistent teams. The Angels continue to romp kind of under the radar a little bit, go 2-0. Your 2-1 teams, the Pods. So the Pods, lose another game on the Dodgers there. My Rockies go 2-1. Got to finally have a nice week. Of course, the very next week I go 0-3. Spoiler alert. But 2-1 for the Rockies, 2-1 for the Cubs and the Astros, and then 3 teams split the week: the Yankees, the Rays, and the White Sox. Man, the White Sox. I feel like I'm always talking about losses that I feel like that team shouldn't be taking, but playing a tough division, man. You're playing a tough American League. You're playing an even tougher division. The White Sox split the week. You're 1-2, 1-3 teams. You had the Marlins, the Royals, the A's, the Brewers come in at 1-2 and 1-3 respectively. And then your winless teams for week 12, the D-backs, the O's, the Giants, the Rangers, the Mets, the Reds, and the Indians go 0-3, and the Nats go 0-2. So not a ton of surprise. And maybe Baltimore. I'm kind of surprised when Baltimore gets swept. But, you run into a tough week. It happens. They're not a top team, but they're a team that I feel like I am surprised when they get swept. You know what? I don't think I have the other shit up yet. Oh, wait. Yeah, I do. All right, cool. Yeah, clearly trying to go through this one pretty quickly because It sucks to talk about something that's so old, that's not old enough to be really cool. So, do we have it up? Yes, we do. All right, let's make it full. So, as I said in the Discord the other day, I'm done with the bottom 5 hitting and pitching shit. It wasn't adding anything, I don't think. I thought maybe it would be fun to be like, oh, this team's climbing his way out of the base. It's not fun. It's not fun for anybody. So I'm gonna get rid of that in favor of like little tidbits, of which I have a few here. I've got more for week 13, but I tried to throw a few up here. So I'm gonna do those before reading the numbers. So Tony's 7-start week teams. Now again, I don't fact check this. Not that I don't trust or believe Tony, but for anybody that looks at this and is like, you're wrong, I don't fact check this. I just go with what Tony tells me, and I take his word for it. 7-start teams went 18-3 in week 12, and I can't remember what he says. Is that including the teams that started 7 starts against each other, or is that excluding them? I can't remember. I'll have to ask him, but 18-3 for 7-start teams. What in the hell just happened? What is going on here? My computer is wigging out. Am I even still live? Holy cow, what is happening here? Man, I have no idea what's going on with StreamYard. I don't know if this is going to continue as one single broadcast or if this is starting a new one and my first little bullshit didn't get recorded. I don't know, but I'm going to just kind of pick up where I left off, which was starting into the numbers and looking at the little newsy tidbits I have instead of the bottom 5 teams in hitting and pitching. Anyway, the 7-start teams go 18-3. The Dodgers kick Detroit out of the top 5 year-long pitching. St. Louis climbs back into the point per game, number 1 spot as point per game on the season. We had a couple new teams that we don't usually see in the top 5 hitting, and the NL East is tight. And that's not like tight, super cool. That's like tight. It's a tight race. You got the Phillies, you got the Marlins. It's a fun little division. It's not the funnest, but it's pretty fun. Maybe they're cool guys too. I like Adam. I like Tony. I like the East. I like Jake. I like the Nats guys. I like Dwight. It's a tight division. I have no idea if this is even fucking going or not at this point, honestly. Jesus Christ, StreamYard. Okay, so your biggest margin in week 12, if this is even recording, the Dodgers over the Giants. Seems like almost every week lately, the number 1 big margin is the Dodgers over X. The Dodgers are putting up giant numbers every week. 12 was no exception. 313.833 points. Number 2, St. Louis over the Cincinnati's, 293.163 points. Number 3, Detroit Tigers over Washington, 225.5. We're going to see Washington on this list a lot in the coming weeks. I get the feeling they are. Tanking teams are going to show up on this list. Minnesota over Cleveland for number 4, 222.333 points. And rounding out the top 5. The Dodgers, again, over Miami, 201.333. So a week where every big margin victory was over 200 points. Excuse me. That might become more commonplace as the year goes on. And no, not that all these teams were tanking, but Cleveland, Washington, Cincy, San Francisco, those are all teams that have sold off a little bit. And then poor Miami, just had a down week and ran into the Dodgers. So your smallest margins, we did not have any in the single digits this week and almost none below 20. The number one smallest margin was the Blue Jays over the Yankees at 19.667 points. And then Miami over the White Sox. So like I said earlier, I feel like I'm talking about a loss the White Sox shouldn't be taking almost every week. Well, there's a one by 22 points to the Marlins, so that easily could have went the other way. But then they also had a slim one over the D-backs, the number 3 smallest margin of the week. The White Sox over Arizona, 25.666 points. Number 4, San Diego, my father, over me, the Rockies, 35.334. So no love lost there. He couldn't, be nice to the Sun that's struggling to keep the 8th playoff spot and, sit a guy out of the goodness of his heart, which, yes, would be collusion. Of course, I'm fucking around, but he beat me by 35 and change. So I almost went 3-0. Almost finally had a week where I swept and I could have beat a powerhouse team while I was at it, but 35 points. And then number 5, Houston over Texas, the battle for Texas, 54 points is your number 5 slim margin. That might be one of the higher or highest slim margin we've ever had. Like I said during the All-Star break, I'm hopefully going to go over some of these past ones and kind of pick out the interesting bits and pieces from all of them and then do like a greatest hits of the first half kind of thing. As long as this shit cooperates and I can get it worked out on my own computer again. Point per game, week 12, the Dodgers, once again, number 1 at 5.3 points per game in 86 games. So not only a high point per game, but a high amount of games, probably the most of the week. I didn't look at that, but 86 is a pretty high game total for the week. Number 2, St. Louis, 5.15 in 76 games. Number 3, Pittsburgh, 4.98, nearly 5 in 75 games. Number 4, Toronto, 4.14 in 74. And number 5, Philadelphia, 4.13 in 77 games. So 2 teams over 5 in week 12. I feel like we usually, at least lately the last few weeks, we've seen at least 1 over 5, like that top team is over 5. Kind of rare to see 2, almost 3 go over 5 in a week. So week 12, pretty high-scoring week for a couple teams. And as we can see, Pittsburgh did that on the strength of the Bats, 230 hitting points, your number 1 hitting team of the week. The Dodgers, number 2, 202 points. Number 3, one of the new faces I was talking about, me, the Rockies, had a good hitting week for once. Number 3, Colorado, 199 points. Number 4, the Yankees, another of the new faces that we don't typically see in the top 5 of hitting, 189 points for 4th place. And then number 5, Philadelphia, who is fairly typical to see at 184 points, rounding out the top 5. So Philly rounds out the top 5 in point per game, rounds out the top 5 in hitting for week 12. Your pitching for week 12, the Dodgers had a monster pitching week, 253.833 points. That is a huge pitching week. Number 1 the week before was Detroit at 208. So almost, that's 2 pretty good starts worth of better, or maybe it was relief, who knows, but 253 is a monster pitching week. Number 2, the St. Louis Cardinals, 212.667 points. Number 3, Toronto, for the second week in a row. They were number 3 in week 11. They're number 3 in week 12, 193.5 points. San Diego, even without Captain Jack, slides in at number 4, 159.667. And Seattle, the mainstay in the pitching, at 150 points. He was 4th the week before. He's 5th this week. I know he had a 3-week run where he was 4th 3 weeks in a row. So Seattle making the right pitching moves, trading Bauer right before his life falls apart, and still manages to be in that top 5 spot. Your point per game for the season, St. Louis, as I said earlier, back in that number 1 spot, 4.32, kicking the White Sox out of there. Pittsburgh at 4.3. The Dodgers at 4.27 climbed from fourth to third. And the Pittsburghs have climbed from third to second. The White Sox down from first to fourth, 4.24. Didn't drop much, 4.29 to 4.24, but dropped 3 spots in doing so. And Detroit at 4.18 dropped a hair, 4.19 to 4.18, but still hanging in the top 5. And then your hitting on the season and pitching on the season, not a whole lot changed. The Dodgers squeaked into the top 5 pitching at 1988.5. Detroit is out of there. They went from third overall in pitching to out of the top 5. St. Louis went from 5th up to 3rd, 2018 pitching points. The White Sox and Seattle still 1 and 2, and Toronto hanging tough at number 4. So not a whole lot changed there. And that is your week 12. That's a very quick week 12. Hopefully this thing says it's 16 minutes. I don't feel like it's been 16 minutes since I started over. So maybe it did grab the whole thing and there's just going to be some blank space in between. It doesn't really matter. I just feel good about getting it out. I don't expect this to be a big viewership or anything. Like I said, you guys know everything about week 12 already. I'm going to come back hopefully a little later today with week 13. And then tomorrow night, Thursday night, Lenny. And the rest of All-Star Week, I know Mark wanted to do – you know what? I'll talk about that in one of the next one that I feel like people might actually watch. So this has been Week 12. Thank you for watching and listening. If you did, sorry about how shitty it was. I'm going to try to be better.